Okay, so I'm here with Dee Begley, who's going to be fighting, is going to be next week. It depends when this is actually brought out, but it's going to be next week against Alex Pereira's sister in karate combat, which is a fantastic promotion. And we know Dee from MMA, SBG. Her roots started back in striking though as well. So how are you today? How are you feeling about the fight? How did this come about, by the way, as well?
Yeah, thanks, David, for having me on. So yeah, I'm really excited about the fight. This came on because I've actually been contacting the matchmaker in karate combat. Again, this is my roots. I started kickboxing at 7 years old. I've competed for Ireland, for over 10 years, and I've world medals, World Cup championships. And it's just, so it made a lot of sense for me. And, I was just really excited about it, fighting like that in a pit, back to my roots, just because I think for the last while in MMA, I've kind of gone away from my background, which is striking. I took a boxing fight the other month just, for experience, and I think it's really, really helped. It's only going to help for my MMA as well. But again, like I'm buzzing for this. It's a great matchup. Alin Pereira, Alex Pereira's sister, and she's from like a Muay Thai background. So I think it's fantastic. It's a great matchup. I'm really excited about it.
And when they actually got back to you and they said this now, did you realize who it was at the time? Because when you look at her career, she hasn't done a hell of a lot, but a lot of people might be intimidated at the fact that whose sister it is, but you don't seem to be. You're all over Twitter, you're all over everywhere.
I don't care who her brother is, brother who, like, she hasn't accomplished anything that her brother has accomplished. So, it would be like me saying, I'm going off to say if I was flying the plane to Salt Lake City, it's just, and I'm flying it because my brother flew it. Like, how confident would you be in the pilot? So you know, so no, I don't care who her brother is. It's great. It's really good to promote the fight. It's a big name. When they offered me, they asked, was I available October 11th? I didn't care who I was fighting. I really, really didn't care. I don't think there's very many people at my level in striking, especially kickboxing. I've 23 years experience. I fought at the highest level. WACO is recognized by the Olympic Council. I fought people from Glory in K1 before, and beaten them. So it's not like, Ellen has, a few wins in Glory, but she also lost, the World Championship fight there. So it's not like she's really achieved very much. I think I've achieved far, far more in kickboxing and striking.
Yeah, you've achieved a lot more in kickboxing, striking, than MMA. You've competed at the likes of the IMAFs as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
you've competed on Invicta, Combate, PFL, like all these huge promotions that. So you going into this fight is nothing kind of new. What do you make of the promotion as a whole? Because President Awesome, I think he is on Instagram. He is the goat.
Yeah, as in
Actually, I really like the Goat Shed Instagram page as well. But how's it been dealing with them, and what do you make of them as a promotion as
I think they're absolutely fantastic. It's phenomenal what they've done for karate as a sport, and what President Awesome and Asim has done since he took over, as the promoter. I met Asim at Combate Global. A lot of his fighters were competing on it when I was fighting on it, and he just that energy he brought into the venue, what he does for his fighters, it's incredible. And he's really, really brought that energy into karate combat, and his gym has like become really, really successful in Miami. I know Jade Jorand, she used to train with me here in Ireland, and again from a similar kickboxing background to me in Wacos. She's actually going to be fighting on the same card, but she trains there. And it's incredible what they've done for the sport. If you ask me at like 16 years old, I was asked what did I want to do, as a career, and I was like, I want to fight. I'd love to fight kickboxing professionally, and it wasn't really an option. And I don't think even for women like Glory was, because it's not like you would have been getting paid very much. So I think karate combat is maybe that, like, that dream, like what MMA has been as well for me, that dream being realized of being able to make money from doing something I love.
Yeah, at the minute, what do you make of? I think especially in MMA, the female side of the sport is growing like very, very quickly. What do you make? Like you said, at 16 years of age, you would have thought there would have been no career in this. What do you make of the scene now compared to then? Because it's kind of exploded with the likes of Danny, Shauna Bannon in the UFC. Danny should be in the UFC, but that's a whole nother conversation I'll have to
That's
have
a
with
whole
her.
other, yeah.
But like
It'll happen. It's inevitable. You know, she's
it
made
has to.
herself undeniable. She'll be ready when the opportunity. It's just a matter of when the opportunity comes for Danny, I think. She'll be ready for it regardless. But yeah, the sport as a whole, yeah, female MMA is it's absolutely blown up. Like when I started in the sport, I was down in Cork, you know, in MMA, like saying MMA, down in Cork, you know, I'd maybe one other like female training partner who'd show up kind of every now and again. And like the reason I moved to Dublin was to have like that team in SBG Ireland of the likes of Danny, Sinead, Katie Saul, you know, so professional fighters who are training like you know, I've training partners every single day of the week, you know, when I go in. So it really has blown up. And when you look at it on a worldwide scale, like stage, you know, look at the opportunities that Sinead Kavanagh has had. You know, she's fought Chris Cyborg. She's, you know, getting paid really, really good money, headlining events. You know, the likes of Kayla Harrison, you know, Danny winning two, you know, defending her belt, you know, winning the Invicta World Championship. You know, it's just, you know, Irish female athletes making history in a fairly modern sport is absolutely incredible. And it's just created opportunity. And I think even, you know, what I've done within the sport, like I was the first female fighter for Irish fighter to fight on Combate Global. I was the first to fight on PFL actually. And I was now the first to fight in karate combat. So it's kind of just like, you know, taking the opportunity when it comes and not being, you know, not shying away from it like that. Like it's the level I'm competing at, and along with all the other girls, you see us all like just fighting at the highest on the biggest stages at the highest level.
Yeah, and you mentioned a couple of you're the first to fight on all these promotions. How does it feel? All these little milestones that you might not have realized would have happened along the way on this journey, but they kind of happen. Do you take them in as they kind of happen, or does it all go by very quickly with the nature of the
No,
sport?
it's kind of like it's almost like afterwards. It's like, oh yeah, actually, I kind of did do that. Like because in the moment, like I'm just accepting a fight. You know, I'm just like, you know, like, and again, especially the last couple, like I haven't taken an easy route. You know, I feel like there's definitely an easier route that I could have taken in my fighting career, but it's just not who I am. And you know, I can have all the pundits and all the people, you know, like talking or not talking about me, or you know, not taking me seriously. But at the end of the day, like it's not like I wouldn't be getting opportunity if I wasn't, you know, like again, my fights are exciting. You know, I'm a really good fighter. I'm fighting the best people the whole time. So yeah, it kind of just comes. They come and go, and you know, it's more like the preparation. I think it's afterwards on reflection a little bit that I'm like, oh, actually, yeah, I did do that.
And how does it feel after the fact? Does it make you proud that you were the first Irish person to fight on these promotions, or has it really kind of sank in?
No, like if you see from my activity, it's more like what's next? Like, oh, that's fine. It's like what's happening next? It's, you know, it's something even I suppose it does come a little bit from, you know, fighting so young and so frequently in kickboxing. You know, you'd be fighting every other weekend. You'd have fights, multiple fights in the same day, depending on what discipline you like I was fighting in. So it was unusual. That was kind of the hardest part of transitioning over from kickboxing to MMA was the inactivity almost. And even at amateur, my amateur career stemmed from 2017 to 2019. And I had 10 amateur fights, you know, and for in that time, you know, amateur female MMA, it was quite hard. Like I think I had one amateur fight in Ireland. The rest were all like the world championships in Bahrain. I had two over in the UK. So it's and another one in Dubai. So it was quite, you know, it's brought me around the world. Like it really, really has. But I think where I'm at now as a pro, where female MMA is, it's blown up like considerably since I even came into the sport as an amateur.
Yeah, it is huge now. And when I was looking through, I was just doing my research on this morning. Your first amateur fight was actually supposed to be someone you're now teammates with. Is that correct? Well, that's what
I
happened.
was yeah. So my first amateur fight was yeah, it was supposed to be against Danny.
Yeah.
And what happened? Danny got injured, and you know what? This is so funny because, like, I'd never done MMA before. I didn't know what to expect, and there was that whole, when I'd watched it, fights, there's all that aggro and stuff, and you don't know what's going on in the background. Like, so I'd been matched with Danny, and I think it was 2 weeks before the fight. Danny herself, before I heard anything, messaged me and she was like, Dee, I'm so sorry. Like, Danny's just like the nicest person ever. She was like, Dee, I'm so sorry. I'm after getting injured. I was really looking forward to our fight. I really hope they can find you a replacement. I know it's really hard to get fights. And I know it's so short notice. So look, hopefully we get to fight again in the future. Really sorry. And like, I just like was so taken aback by the message. I was like, oh my God, this girl is so lovely. Like, we were ready to kick the heads off each other. She gets injured, and this is like, and then the promotion got on to me, and look, the fight didn't happen. And I don't think I got a replacement, but it made, do you know what? I don't think if Danny hadn't done that, I don't think I would have ended up in SBG in Dublin, because I actually messaged her when I was thinking about moving up, and I messaged her and I was like, look, I know you've a lot of girls in the gym. I know you've a lot of girls in the gym, like how, like, can I, like, what's the story with, like, joining, whatever. And so she gave me some advice. And I don't think that would have happened if she hadn't been so nice and approachable. I was like, oh no, this is a girl I could actually, train with.
Yeah, it is mental. I've met Danny in person. I've interviewed her in person as well, and she is, like you said, the one of the nicest people you'll ever come
Yeah.
across. And it's mad how that message then transpired into you being able to message her when you wanted to move. And um,
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, like, she pushes you hard in training. Like, she's not, I wouldn't necessarily be the nicest person to spar. We give each other absolute hell, like, in the best way. But you know what? It kind of goes to show her character, how we can beat the head off each other in sparring, training. Like, I've injured her, she's hurt me. Like, and the minute, you walk off the mat, it's just done. There's no drama, there's no nothing. And I think it just goes to show, like, her character, when you can just be friends. It's all forgotten afterwards.
yeah, no, because it's all about getting better, about being the best fighter you can be, and the way you're doing that is on the training mats with the bodies that you have in SBG. Talk to us about SBG. You've got obviously John Kavanagh, Dave Roach, who goes under the radar a lot. I think he deserves
Yes,
not
yes.
that he doesn't get credit, but I just think he's one of the top guys there, and he's fantastic and he's lovely to deal with.
No, and like the time he puts into, like, and how he studies the sport, he's incredible IQ. Himself and John are like the perfect pair. Like, John has like the grappling, and just like MMA in general. Don't get me wrong, his striking is incredible too. But Dave is absolutely phenomenal, and he's been with the gym, like, as long as I've been there, and even longer before that. But what he brings is, that, like, the analysis he does, the breakdown. Like, I am so confident in the game plan for this girl going, like, next week, purely for the way that, like, Dave's broke it down, the game plan we have. So yeah, no, phenomenal coaching, support in the gym, phenomenal training support. It really is, a tight knit. I know it seems like, from the outside, a really, really big gym, but it's quite a close knit, like, family. Everyone, gets along. Everyone wants to see everyone else get better and succeed. So, when I see other people getting opportunity, doing well, winning, like, it's incredible, because it just goes to show the level of my training partners on the mat. That's only going to make me better as well.
Yeah, they're basically, if they get opportunities, it's opening the doors for everyone else in the gym, and different, like, obviously Cage Warriors haven't had an SBG fighter for a while. Conor McCarthy's after signing now Max Lally. So once one person gets the opportunity, it kind of opens the doors for other people in the gyms with other promotions and stuff like that. And Dave and John are both fantastic coaches, and that's, I've heard about Dave. The game planning is where it's at. But you're going to be going away next week. When do you fly away? What does kind of fight week look like for you?
So I'm flying out tomorrow morning. I'm leaving Ireland at, I think my flight leaves at 9:30. So it's on in Salt Lake City. So it's at altitude. So there will be a bit of an adjustment period. So I'm getting in, I think, 7:30 at night, Salt Lake City time. The plan is to do some pad work, just because I am going to feel uncomfortable. It's my first time fighting at altitude. So there's just not going to be as much oxygen in the air as there is here. So just getting used to that. So first, literally fly in, get settled, have a shakeout. Next morning, kind of do the same. I have some media obligations on Tuesday, just photos, get my gear sorted, and maybe do some interviews, and again just get like workout in, get my food sorted. Wednesday, then I think they're doing a bit of a press conference. So it's interesting. This event, they do it in conjunction with like a crypto conference. So I think it'll be busy enough. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like. And then weigh in Thursday, fight Friday, get the job done, fly home Saturday.
So in terms of it sounds like a very, very busy week. Obviously, the last week this fight is coming on short enough notice. So you'd usually have your training camp and then you kind of dial down. How hectic is it to have the week of doing media, doing this, that, the other? Or do you enjoy all that? Because I know a lot of the amateur fighters, when they're here, they just have the week of cutting weight. You don't have as much of that because it's at a catch weight. Like how hectic is it doing media and doing this and doing that? Or do you enjoy it, to embrace it?
It's kind of, it's just like, it's part of the job. You just have to, it's an obligation. You just have to do it. I don't really think too much about it. I think it comes with experience. I think it comes as well, like I have a background, my career before I kind of went full-time training was in corporate banking. So, meetings, doing all that public speaking isn't something that I would have struggled too much with. Don't get me wrong, it took, I've been a pro for a good few years now. So having the cameras and the lights in front of you, it's just something you kind of become accustomed to. So yeah, it's just kind of part and parcel. And like my week is so hectic. My life in Ireland is so hectic, right? So it literally does feel when like I'm away for a fight week, I'm like, oh, this is all I have to do today. That's it. To worry about whereas usually like I'm worrying about my food, my 2 training sessions, like doing my bit of work in between, meeting people, socializing. Whereas like being away, it's almost like, oh no, this is calm, this is nice. And yeah, so it's actually quite a calming week. I enjoy fight week usually.
Yeah, because a lot of people say when they fight in Ireland, you've got like I said, you've got everything that you usually have to do with your personal life. I know obviously you've left the banking sector to pursue MMA full time, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm actually in the process of setting up my own business, which is probably why I see going away as a bit of a break, because it's been quite busy. But fighting in Ireland can be tough because your family, your friends, like that you're in the country, so they don't really see it as your normal fight week. So they're still ringing you to talk about their like, oh, such and such happened at work, or whereas when I'm away, they're like, no, Dee's away now. And like being on a different time zone as well means you're not really available in the same way. There's like 7 hours of the day where everyone else is kind of still asleep. So yeah, there is that kind of, it is nice. I much prefer fighting abroad. Don't get me wrong. Like I fought in Ireland in June. Actually, that was so long ago, 2021 in Belfast. And it was just after COVID. So that was a little bit different, but it would be nice to fight in Ireland, but I definitely like the kind of separation of fighting abroad.
Yeah, because like I said, people realize you're away, you're there to do your job. Whereas when you're here, like I said, people to ring about their day or look for tickets or stuff leading up to the fight. But so you're gonna be fighting karate. You fought boxing, and then you fought MMA this year. So you fought in three different disciplines at professional level. Is that due to, like you were saying earlier, kickboxing? You were so active. Is it you just want to keep active and there isn't as much activity in MMA, or is it just trying new things? Because the boxing was your debut. How did that feel going into that fight?
Yeah, so again, it is kind of down to activity, like the way, say, jujitsu, the people have the luxury of having a lot of tournaments that are on. They have, the likes of Polaris and all that they compete in. Whereas there isn't necessarily that for striking, and obviously you're taking, you know, damage when you're doing that. So it's my way of kind of sharpening up my striking without, you know, taking, you know, too much damage. Like yeah, so my boxing debut was, I was never going to win that fight, right? They're flying me in from a foreign country. Like it's just the politics of boxing. In my head, like, and with like John and Dave, it was always going to be an exhibition. So I went in there, implemented a game plan, and, you know, like performed really, really well. I arguably, like, you know, won. It was a very, very close fight. So it was good. I really enjoyed it, and it's given me a lot of confidence going into this as well. And we kind of fixed a few kind of tendencies and bad habits that I had in my striking by doing it. So, and it kind of took me away from being over reliant on my kicks to break distance. So we used it very specifically to help with the MMA and my striking as a whole. And that's what like, and I did it before. I've competed in the last couple of years in a couple of kickboxing competitions. I went to the World Championships in 2021. And, you know, so I'm just trying as well to stay active, but also it's kind of giving me the same opportunity that, like, say, like the likes of the IBJJFs and all that do for jujitsu, you know, jujitsu people. So that's my equivalent. That's how I look at it anyways. It's staying active without taking a lot of damage. And yeah, it's just it's progressing, you know, because there's only so much, you know, in a training environment. There's only so much when it's live rounds, you know, small gloves. It's very, very hard to get that, you know, to simulate that fight night uh feeling. So, you know, doing the boxing, you know, having to do, you know, and what was nice about the boxing is we were able to take away the stress of, like, I'd no weight cut. So then that week it was all about just performing, showing up, like, what does that look like? So it was really, really good. It was almost like doing a fight with, you know, with training wheels.
Yeah, because like that, it's not. I've heard people who perform fantastically in the gym, and then when it comes to the night of a fight, it's not just like you said, the live rounds. It's the atmosphere. It's multiple other things involved in it, and like that is to get that experience you can't really get in the gym. But with the karate fight this week, is this just a one fight thing, or obviously when you get the job done, will they be looking to have you back, or were you just talking about just this one fight, or is there any future?
I would, so it is right now just the one fight, but it was be something that I'd be very, very interested in doing more frequently. You know, if I could mix it up between having a karate combat fight, or, like, you don't know, like, you know, go out, win this fight. You know, they don't have a female champion you know, at 125. You know, that would be something that I'd be very, very interested. They have shows every month, you know, why not? Why not? Like, you know, it would be like you know, you see the likes of, like, Clarissa Shields. She's gone off and done everything in boxing, and now she's gone to, say, MMA. It's like I'm almost like it with the karate combat, it's like I'm doing the opposite, where I've gone, you know, from kickboxing to MMA back to, because the opportunity to do, you know, kickboxing at that level wasn't there when I was doing it full time.
Yeah, no, because I think they've done fantastic with the promotion of it. Just their marketing and all of it as well, I think is fantastic. And it looks like I just like watching people fight. It doesn't matter
Yeah,
whether it's MMA, whether it's
doesn't matter.
boxing can be all right at times, but I prefer the likes of Muay Thai, kickboxing, karate, and they've just made it so watchable. They've made it so watchable and
Yeah.
so attractive to
It's
casual
so
fans.
what people have been asking me about it. They were like, so what's different to what you're fighting next week compared to MMA? And I was telling them it's basically MMA without jujitsu. It's you can't submit, you can't hold. If you take someone down, you've 5 seconds to land strikes. There are elbows, there are calf kicks, leg kicks, and you're allowed takedown sweeps. So it kind of is. It's like MMA without the jujitsu.
Yeah, which obviously for strikers would suit a lot of strikers.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
going into it. But no, it's going to be a fantastic show this weekend. I can't wait to see you fight. I'm going to let you go. Is there anything you want to say before you go, or anyone you want to shout out? And I want to thank you so much for your time, because I know it's a busy week ahead of you.
No, thanks, David. No, I'd just like to give a big shout out to my team, to John Kavanagh, David Roach, and to Karate Combat for making this fight happen. I'm really, really excited for it. And just, like it takes its toll on my family and my friends and loved ones, that I am kind of active because I'm not really around or available. So yeah, just a big shout out to them for everything. And thank you so much for having me on, David. It's been great to chat to you.
Perfect. It's been lovely to chat to you, and then hopefully we'll get one in after the fight, after you get the knockout.
Yes, 100%. Take care.
Perfect. Thank you.